Welcome to this practice. We're going to be exploring the concept of the 6 stations of the mind based on some of the other practices we've had in a sequence of discussions about this. And you can see those here on the screen. In this session, we'll be addressing how the sympathetic nervous system picks up these fight or flight reactions based on past impressions, based on conditioning, societal and familial conditioning, professional conditioning, all the things, and what we can do to bring our sympathetic arousal down so that we can live in our bodies in a place of center, in a place of tranquility, actually. The practice will close with a restorative session that has a meditative reflection for you on all 6 stations of the mind. Okay, let's go to class. See you there. Good morning. Welcome for this practice. This weekend, I've been leading a yoga psychology training, and part of what we're looking at is a mental map that we talk about as the 6 stations of the mind. And none of them is a cat or a dog station, though they're all generated by our limbic brain. When they're working against us, they're primarily promoting the limbic brain activities or the lizard brain activities. But the 6 stations of the mind, they also can access the neocortex and be used for our wisdom and our evolution. They are past and future, self and other, and then likes and dislikes, or craving and aversion. This morning we had a pranayama practice focusing on how to move when somebody is in sympathetic overdrive, how to move the nervous system from that sympathetic fight or flight to come back down to a place of grounding, a place of stillness. And now we're going to do a practice based on really getting into the hips and the pelvis so that somebody who's been in sympathetic overdrive is able to land once again in the base of the body. So we ought not to confuse that a practice that opens up the hips and pelvis and allows sympathetic to come back home would also be a practice that then deepens dorsal vagal. So it's not in this yoga practice, it's not an either or. Either we're sympathetic or we're dorsal vagal. We're using yoga as a remedy to balance the nervous system overall. So yoga is a practice you might consider to be an adaptogen. It's adapting you to come back into harmony. So a practice that brings you back down to the lower base of the pelvis is not going to leave you there in a dorsal vagal slump. Now, clarifying that, because when we talk about the dorsal vagal nervous system, there are places where the nerve fibers here are connected to that freeze, submit, collapse response. Therefore, we could, in addition, say that working in the hips and pelvis helps to thaw or to unfreeze that freeze response. And my primary aim is to help the sympathetically dominant individual know how to get back home. Secondary beneficial outcome is for some of our clients who go to dorsal vagal as a reflex, this could also help to reacquaint them with the pelvis and with a sense of stability rather than stuckness. And I made that emphasis because sometimes when people go to dorsal vagal, they're actually trying to stabilize their life from overwhelm or chaos or uncertainty or fragility. They're trying to stabilize their life, but what ends up happening is we create conditions of stuckness when we're in a constant dorsal vagal mode. So I hope that's all conveyed clearly. Your direct experience is going to be a better teacher than my words. So we're going to get ready for physical practice now. My assistant, her name is Bindi. Sometimes I call her Bindimator, and Bindi Poof because she's poofy. And sometimes I just call her Poof. She might stay, she might go. She's playing the role of a dust mop at the moment. So, okay, please take a comfortable seat. Rest your hands in your lap. Close your eyes. And allow yourself to start arriving. I sometimes like the image of you're a fisherman and you're drawing in all the fishing lines that have been out in the ocean today. So pull back your tendrils of energy and attention and bring them back to you, back to your center. As you picture returning those tendrils back to you as a resource. You can also imagine that you'll be less dissipated by those fishing lines being out in the wide ocean of life. When you feel like you're arriving a bit more and more, then start to deepen your inhale and your exhale. Focus on the inhale, moving up the front of the spine. And the exhale from toning at the pelvic floor, moving upwards along the front of the spine also. As you deepen your breathing, look to get more comfortable with the pause at the top of the inhale and the pause at the bottom of the exhale. The in-breath naturally enlivens your sympathetic nervous system, and the out-breath naturally promotes your parasympathetic nervous system. So also aim to balance your inhale with your exhale. You can even lightly count the length of the inhale and the length of the exhale. Please do that for 2 more breath cycles, balancing your inhale with your exhale. At the end of the second exhale, you can then release the practice and just notice any tiny shift in your system. Notice if the fishing lines have come back home, if you feel more connected to yourself, if you're more able to observe in a loving way what's happening moment to moment. And then please raise your hands to your heart. We'll share an invocation to start the practice. So in this invocation, we'll be chanting Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Vidyang Karava Vahai Tejasvina Vadhi Tamastu Ma Vidvesha Vahai. And it means, may this practice that we embark on together, Saha, may the practice help us to feel protected from, let's say, overwhelm or anxiety or depression or mental habits. May we be protecting ourselves from the ways in which the mind goes out of balance and then intrudes on our ability to find our sense of center. May this practice nourish us. May we feel nourished by the efforts we're about to make. Saha means together. So when we say Sahana Vavatu, Sahana Bhunaktu, each of those starts with the word Saha. And we say Saha again, Saha Vidyang Karavavahai. May we feel strong together. May we practice in a vigorous way when needed. Vigorous might mean when the mental habits are intruding, may we increase our mindful discernment so we can stay on course. As if we were a boat on the ocean, we've pulled in the fishing lines and we're heading home. And we're not going to be like, oh, fish, like, oh, fish, like a dog with a squirrel. Can we just keep our mind focused since we're practicing yoga right now? And we say, Tejas Vina Vadhi Tamastu. Tejas is light and tamas is heaviness or darkness or that which gets concealed. Tejas is the light that helps to reveal. So may this practice bring us back to Tejas and help us to overcome tamas. May we have the light to see clearly. May we not be living in concealment that is lost from our true nature. Ma vidvesha vahai. It says ma vidvesha vahai. Dvesha is in the middle of that phrase. Ma vidvesha vahai. And it means may we not feel dvesha towards each other or towards ourselves along the way. May we not experience impatience, aversion, animosity, hostility towards ourselves or others in the process of our journey. So this is called the Shanti invocation. Please bring your hands together at your heart. Can you put your paws together like this? No, you would fall on your nose. Oh, don't mute the microphone, please. Okay, here we go. Om Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Asatoma Satkamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Release your hands. Open your eyes as you're ready to. I have been asked to clarify the last few lines of the invocations when we say Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May there be peace. May there be peace between us, amongst us. May there be peace in all the realms. Then we say Harihi Om Harihi Om Harihi. So ha in the abdomen area and the diaphragm area, ha, like Harihi Om. It's a strong aspirated quality. Harihi, and you're bringing this Ha up to the throat. You're asking to expel the impurities, basically. Hari Om means may the impurities be removed. So you're asking to expel the impurities. And then you say Om, which is like a sacred sound. So we have a pause between Hari and Om. Hari Om. Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Giving gratitude to the beautiful teacher, Guru, the beauty of that which brings us from darkness to light. And sometimes that is suffering. It may be the suffering that's bringing us out of the deepest, darkest place, movement back towards the light. Often I say, like, as if you were a potato in a dark basement. This potato, if there was one little glimmer of light, one little peephole of light in the basement, the potato would grow an eye in that direction. You would see it making an effort. So sometimes that guru in our life is actually the deep suffering. Maybe the tamas, that which has been concealed, we become so much in pain for not knowing ourselves. When we're in that place of concealment, we forget our deepest nature. We are taken over by more dark perspectives on ourselves. So Shri Guru Pyo Namaha, giving gratitude for the darkness that became the light or caused us to seek the light, or giving gratitude for the teacher that brought us from darkness to light. That can be circumstances or an embodied teacher or a teacher whose path you're following, even if they're no longer alive. And then we say at the end of that line, Namaha. It's all bigger than we are. Namaha. We can't even imagine. It's incomprehensibly vast and loving beyond us. And then we say it again, Harihi Om, Harihi Om. Then we feel ready for our practice. Okay. Thank you for your request to have that more clearly defined. All right, so we're gonna do a practice that helps us to take a seat in the pelvis, to be in the pelvic basin. So let's imagine that you were coming to your yoga practice feeling pretty anxious, and sometimes that anxiety is also exhausting. If you haven't noticed, sometimes when you're on sympathetic dominance, your body fundamentally gets exhausted. It can be very tiresome to be on that overdrive for a long time. So I'm going to ask you to start by taking a seat on your mat facing the long side of the mat. Okay, and so when you're sitting like this, place your hands behind you. Turn your fingers to point towards your hips. Bend the elbows and roll back a little bit for your spine to come into a little bit of flexion here. So if you think of sympathetic nerve fibers, they're in the thoracic region through here, diaphragm, thoracic region, and they help us to get up and go. So what we're going to do right now is bring those nerve fibers down. Let the back round a little bit like you're doing cat pose. Let's breathe in. And then exhale and curl your knees into your chest. And then inhale, lower the feet back to the floor. Exhale, curl the knees into the chest. Use the lower belly to pick up the knees and to bring them in close. Inhale, touch your toes back to the floor, not the knees. That is coming soon, but exhale, curl in. Inhale, touch down. And exhale, curl in, squeeze the lower belly, kind of like progressive muscle relaxation. Sometimes you have to squeeze the muscle before it's going to relax. So inhale, touch your feet down. And exhale to squeeze in. And then touch your feet down with the inhale. And let's roll the spine up a little bit now. Set the shoulders back. And as you take the shoulders back, start reaching each shoulder equally back behind the collarbone. Raise your heart up. Open your throat. Inhale and look up. And then exhale, thoughtfully notice the strength of the lower belly during the exhale. Inhale. And now exhale, curl the chin in, round your spine, and return the knees to the chest, coming back to this earlier position. And then inhale, roll up. So it's kind of like doing the cat and the cow pose. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale at your own pace. And exhale. Move the whole spine so you're rolling in flexion. And then you're rolling over the pelvis and the sitting bones to come into extension. And exhale to curl in, raise the knees, squeeze them in. And one more time, inhale to go up. And then exhale and relax your arms over your knees. Circulation is going to run back down the arms, and we just take this gentle little forward bend. The armpits go over the knees, or the arms go over the knees. So it tells the nervous system, okay, we're going to be calming down. We're not going to stay in sympathetic overdrive. And even if we have poses of expansion during yoga, they won't be for the fight or flight system to take over. Okay, now we're going to combine that practice with a breathing method called Simha breathing, or lion's breath. So in lion's breath, what we do is we stick the tongue way out during the exhale. We make the eyes big and scary, right? It's like roaring like a lion. Your eyes actually look up. And so the exhale breath looks like, okay, so we're going to do that in that little back bend position. And you can imagine that sometimes people are in sympathetic overdrive and it's taken them over. It's compulsive. They aren't actually feeling like they're choosing it now. They feel like they can't not choose it. It has become a mode, a drive, a determination that's taken over them. Like they're just being carried through the conveyor belt of the dry cleaner, right? They're just on, they're coming around the corner and they get the next way like this. They don't know how to get out of the drive that they're in. And so it's helpful to think of, what would I have to do to overcome that drive? And sometimes we have to use our fight reflex appropriately. Like, I'm going to advocate for my freedom here, freedom from this pattern, freedom from compulsive determination to come back to appropriate, wise determination. So take your seat like this. Let's try the first one together. So inhale, raise up through your heart and look up. Here's the whole in-breath. And then here's the exhale. And then inhale, look forward and raise your knees. Exhale, curl in. Roll back a little bit so it's even more rounded for the spine. And then inhale, roll up. Inhale, look forward, raise the knees. And exhale, roll back and squeeze the knees into the chest. Again, inhale, roll forward, look up, lift up. Lion's breath. And once more, inhale to look forward, raise the knees. And exhale, round your spine, hug the knees in close. And now you are perfectly positioned. Inhale, come up to boat pose. Let's do baby boat pose. I'll call it Bala Navasana, the boat of the child. The reason I'm calling it this is actually in Navasana, you would straighten the legs, but for some of you, that's going to be counterproductive because your hamstrings might not be ready for that. So in this boat pose, now imagine yourself being steady on the ocean. Inhale smoothly, exhale smoothly, steady on the ocean. Okay, and then inhale, raise both feet up momentarily. Exhale, cross your ankles and come into Sukhasana. Reach forward and come over the pelvis. Inhale, roll up to your baby boat pose. Exhale, tone the lower belly. Inhale, straighten the legs if your hamstrings allow for it. Exhale, cross the ankles the other way and reach forward in this Sukhasana. Inhale, roll up to boat. Exhale, straighten the legs if your body can do that. Breathe in. And then exhale, cross the ankles and reach forward again. Reach out past your legs in this version of Sukhasana. And one more time, baby boat pose as you inhale. Be steady on your ocean. And exhale, cross the ankles, reach forward. And let's lower the elbows down and maybe touch the floor, or perhaps you'll put a blanket or a couple of blocks for your elbows to reach. Relax the weight of your head. And notice the breath coming down into the pelvic basin. You'll also feel the breath in the back of the waist and the sides of the waist. Walk your hands back to your knees now, and as you press up to kneeling, up to sitting, excuse me, then turn to face forward once again. Okay, so you should feel a bit more present into the pelvis, and notice that we're using some abdominal strength, and that's to help kind of pull those fishing lines back in. We may need the strength to tether to ourselves sometimes, or to get lost in that, like I said, like the conveyor belt at the dry cleaner. I don't go to the dry cleaner, but I've seen this in movies. You know, like they got to get all the shirts to come through before they can get that one customer shirt pulled out. But everyone's going through the loop like that. So we don't want our robotic determination to take over into compulsivity. Okay, so now place your fingertips behind you. I'll show you the side view. You can do the forward facing view. So if you put the fingertips behind, and you're going to be up on the fingertips this time, then raise the knees up and then lower them down to your right. Lift the upper left chest. And then bring the knees up to center and lower them down to your left. Open the upper right chest. Raise the knees up to center and over to your right. So let's do that with the breath cycle. We'll inhale up to center. Exhale down to one side. Please keep the legs together as a unit so it doesn't appear that one knee is getting shorter than the other knee as you go side to side. We're going to roll to the outer hip of the side to which you are going. Hello. Yeah, hi. Where are the other two? Let's go down to the right one more time. Excuse me, Bindi. And up to center. And down to the left one more time. Raise the upper right chest. And then roll back to center. Okay, touch the feet flat to the floor. Can I have this, please? That's not for you, that's for me. That's a meditation shawl. Touch the feet flat to the floor and please roll down slowly onto your back. And then place the feet to their hip distance apart. Take your arms out into a T shape. Imagine that we're kind of corkscrewing our way down. As if a corkscrew goes into a bottle, we're going to corkscrew our way down into the lower belly and the lower abdomen. So now put the feet and legs together once again. And while keeping them together, on the exhale, lower both knees down to your right. Open the upper left chest. Inhale, roll to center. Exhale, roll to your left. Open the upper right chest. Inhale, roll to center. As your knees go to the right, turn your nose to your left. Inhale your knees and your nose to center together. Exhale, knees left, nose right at the same tempo. Inhale, so they arrive together. And exhale, so they each get to their destination at the same time as the other. One more time, inhale to center. And exhale, knees left, nose right. And then inhale to center. And stretch out the legs for a moment, like a starfish. And try to sense if you feel more connected to the lower abdomen, to the low pelvis, the gut, as it were. Okay, please bend both knees and take your yoga strap. I brought a strap for show and tell today. Let's bring the right knee up and the right foot into the strap. And you can put your hand in the strap. A way that I'm going to recommend that you do it is like this. You have your strap. It goes over the mound of the toes. So it's not on the toes. The pinky toe is the free agent right out here. And you put the hand in the strap from the inside of the strap, not from the front, but from the inside or the back side. And then you wrap it around your wrist like this. Yeah. And then take the left leg out straight. So we're going to keep using the abdominal muscles, which may seem like a little bit counterintuitive. So let me explain again. We're going to squeeze and then we end up releasing. So when we squeeze the abdominal muscles and then there's that release, we're kind of giving a rhythmic pulsation to the whole vagus nerve, the whole vagal system. We also want to picture squeeze and release becoming eventually a deeper level of relaxation. So when you inhale here, reach up through your right heel. And on the exhale, curl your torso and your head up towards your right leg like this. As you inhale, lay the torso back down. And then exhale, curl up. Inhale, roll down. Exhale, curl. The chin does come in towards the throat. Look at your left big toe. Inhale, roll down. You might look at your right big toe. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, roll down. And do that one more time. And then exhale and start taking your right leg out to the side without distorting the foundation of your pose. So the outer left hip, left thigh, left calf, left heel, they all stay grounded as you take the right leg out to the side. It doesn't go farther than your left hip can maintain stability. So you check with your left thigh that it still feels stable for you. Strengthen your right leg. Energize the left leg. Breathe down low into the pelvic region. And keeping your connection so that the left hemisphere of your body has not been tipped over like a steady boat on the water. And with your next inhale, raise your right leg up to center. And then switch to put your left hand in the strap instead of your right hand, like this. Open the right arm out to the side. Now, as we go to the other side, when we cross over here, I'm going to recommend that first you do lift your hip up off the floor. We are not just leaning the right leg over like a book on a shelf, right? It's not leaning against its neighboring book. So you're going to lift up. You see how I just did that there? So if you strengthen the left hip and the left leg is more grounded, and you push up with the right leg, you've already lifted this part of the hip off the floor, and you're going across. And it's possible that your foot is not going to reach the floor over there. So you could take a block and place it for your foot to land on. You can also, I'll demonstrate, you can see 2 blocks make a nice height for some people to rest the ankle on. As you come across, then breathe deeply. In through the nose, out through the nose. Breathe down into the lower right belly, right outer hip, even the lower back. You can breathe into the lower back and the lumbar spine too. Of course, you're going to breathe into the abdomen and the lower belly. So we're not leaving that out. Now keeping the left leg strong and the right leg strong. Relax your mind. Put the confidence into your body to know how to recalibrate. You're right now stretching myofascial systems, musculoskeletal systems. You're shifting the nadis and the marma points, increasing circulation. You're giving your body an opportunity to move towards harmony, to release tension, and to move back towards harmony. So with the next inhale, as you start raising up, now reach with both hands to hold the strap. And on the exhale, curl your head up. And then exhale and raise your left leg to meet your right leg. Switch the strap. Lower the right leg down. And lower the torso down and hold the strap with just your left hand. You see how we switched sides there? And as you're switching, let me untangle. As you're switching sides, the idea then is that you have your left hand is on the inside of the strap, just like the right hand did it from the inside. And the right leg is grounded right down through here. Okay, so now we're going to inhale. And exhale, curl up. Look at the right big toe. Inhale, roll back down. Maybe you'll look at the left big toe. Exhale, curl up. Inhale, roll down. And exhale to curl up. And inhale to roll down. So you're massaging the thoracic spine there with the movement. You're also notifying rhythmically the lower belly once again. So now we'll take the left leg out to the side. Go slowly enough that you are not disrupting the right hip or the right thigh. So these stay totally grounded. Where your right hip and your right thigh are, they stay fixed. So if you were at the ocean, at the beach, we would not see the weight under your right hip getting lessened. There would still be the same divot in the sand there. As you're coming over, of course, it's also appropriate to use a block to support your foot there. But I find it's helpful not to look for a destination to get to on the left, but to seek the sense of grounding on the right, on the stabilizing leg. Now exhale completely, thoughtfully, and then inhale, raise your left leg up to center. Reach up with your right hand to hold inside the strap. We are going to be going across, and so this is a time you might actually set up your blocks to be at the ready. You may not know how high you need them to be or where you want them to be. I'll put mine there so you can still see me a little bit anyway. So you're going to hold from the inside of the strap, raise the left hip up off the floor, and then begin to come over. So that as you come over, I'll just use one. I hope we can still see each other. Yeah, I can see you. So as we come over, there is a place of support, but it's not like you're going to get lax there. It's not a place of like having a holiday. Keep the left leg strong as you reach out into your heel. Keep the right leg strong as you reach into that leg as well. Breathe in and out through the nose, keeping the legs strong, each of them. Can you relax the mind? The breath can be dynamic, but also tranquil. We're going to inhale and raise the left leg back up to center. Let's reach up with both hands to hold. Now, as you're holding, center your left leg in line with your left hip socket, so it's not coming across to the right side of the body, but centered on the left side. And then exhale and curl up. And then you can raise the right leg up to meet the left leg. Put the strap on both feet. This is called Supta Paschimottanasana. Normally it's not done with the yoga strap. You would simply hold the back of the legs. Okay, let's roll the spine down. You can take the strap off of your feet. And then see if you can lower the legs down. And keep the low pelvis and the lower abdomen strong. And then let your body relax again into your starfish position. And that starfish just means take the feet out like you're doing Shavasana, take the arms out to the side, something like this. Notice the recalibration is happening from the pelvic basin here. And prana is being distributed throughout your body, towards your feet, towards your hands, in all directions. Okay, please cross your right ankle over your left knee. So bend both knees and cross your right ankle over your left knee like this. When you cross over, reach for one block and place the block. So it's right at the crease of the groin right here. So that's the place where the hip, you can see here, the hip meets the thigh. So place the block right there and press against it. So you're asking for some space in the right low belly. You're basically pressing the right femur down and making space inside the hip joint, which is going to translate as space in the inner belly as well. And breathe slowly and deeply into the lower abdomen. And then place your block to the side. And keeping this figure 4 pose, pick up your left leg, reach between. And you can hold the back of your left hamstring with your hands clasped. And if it's appropriate, if your right elbow reaches, then you can use your elbow to press your right thigh a little bit away from your torso. This is called the figure 4 pose because when you crossed your ankle over your knee, apparently it looks like the number 4 to people who named this figure 4 pose. Allow your mind and your breathing to be relaxed, the breath consistent, but also tranquil. Imagine the breath is like the waves of the ocean, gently coming in, gently going out, or gently rising and descending. And the more tranquil the breath becomes, the more peaceful the mind becomes, the more flexible your body is going to feel. And as you next exhale, go ahead and release your left foot back to the floor. Now here you are with the right foot within reach. Take your right hand to hold your right heel. I'm going to ask you to inhale and lengthen the right leg up. You may be someone who needs a strap to do that. It's okay. And then exhale, bend your right knee, point the toes, and try placing your foot so that your heel, the right heel, is in the left low belly right in here. The toes are pointed now. We're bringing the foot down at the top of the opposite thigh. And then press your right knee open away from your chest. So you can hold your right foot with your left hand. So the hips are level here. And this is my right foot in the crease of the left hip. You can hold it with your opposite hand. And press the right knee out away from the torso. Let the mind and the breath be relaxed together. And continue bringing the breath down into the lower belly. And then keeping that sense of relaxation and ease in the mind, pick up the left knee, reach over the right ankle this time, and hold the back of the left hamstring. So if you were noticing, your right foot is now in half lotus pose, called Ardha Padmasana. So this is called Supta Ardha Padmasana, reclined half lotus pose. Now allow the mind and the body and the breath to become more and more at peace, less and less angst, which may contribute to the feeling of flexibility in your right hip. Okay, and then touch your left foot down. Unhook the right foot and touch it down. Hi, honey. I know. What a beautiful morning you had. Yeah, you had your own kinds of chaos. Okay, stretch the right leg out straight and notice the difference in your right leg relative to your left leg. If you stretch that one out as well, notice the difference right to left. And what you might feel as a difference is circulation, aliveness, re-inhabiting the right leg, right? So you had some hip compression, but now, oh, you're very much aware of the right leg all the way to your foot. Let's bend both knees. And then cross your left ankle over your right knee. Take a block. Place it at the very top of the thigh. Press with both hands, just making some space in the hip joint. Yes, okay. You're gonna be all right, honey. Yeah. Hi. Yeah, I'm on the floor. I'm right here available to you. I am. Hi. We're friends. You purring into the microphone? Okay. So making that space in your left hip joint is like a precursor for the flexibility we want, so that now when you pick up the right knee, the left thigh, we hope it glides inside the hip socket. Reach up behind your right hamstring with both hands. If it's comfortable, you may end up with your left forearm or your left elbow pressing your left thigh out slightly. Breathe in and let the mind and the breath together be tranquil, while the breath is also consistent. No need for an urgent mind right now. No need for that fight or flight mechanism at all at the moment. Breathe smoothly, consistently, with an intention for peace, tranquility. And then touch your right foot down. Let's hold on to the left heel with the left hand. If you can hold that close. And then inhale. Just a momentary straightening of the left leg. And then we're going to bend the left knee, point the toes, and bring the left foot across. So it's going to go into the top of the right thigh. So here is the crease of the thigh right there where my foot is. And you hold your foot with the opposite hand. Press the left knee away, not using a block or even your hand, but using the strength of the left outer hip to help open the left knee away from your chest. Let's keep both hips grounded, both hips stable. And then pick up your right knee, reach over the left shin with your left arm and around your right thigh with your right hand and come into, yes, it's half lotus pose on the other side. Allow the breath to be smooth and tranquil. This is a time for peace within you, not a time for conflict between you and your body. And then let's release the right foot back to the floor, release the left leg, and take both legs out again in a starfish position, and see if you have the felt sense of embodying your left leg a bit more. Deeply relax the low belly. Okay, please bend both knees. Place your feet flat on the floor. Roll to your side. As you come up to sit, I'm going to ask you to get a couple things together for a restorative pose. You'll see it in just a moment. And what we'll do in this restorative practice is bring together where we've been, and we're going to do one more pose here to really get a sense of the inner belly and this work. So I'd like you to have 2 blocks. Go ahead and get those. And 2 blankets, which I already have here. So you can go ahead and get yours. Make sure you have those at the ready. Okay, and then take a seat. This is called Z position. I don't have a better name for it. So you're going to take a seat where the left foot wraps around behind the left outer hip. This is my left side. And the right leg is in this kind of Siddhasana position, nearly a half lotus pose position. So like this. Okay, place your fingertips behind you, lift up through the heart. If you need to, it's okay to sit on a blanket, but when you see where we're going, you may not want to be on a blanket. Okay. And then walk your left hand across to your right knee, start twisting to your right. And as you twist to the right, the left hip's going to come up slightly off the floor. When you're twisting to the right, now start walking to the right and keep the right arm straight and strong. So here's my right arm behind me. It's going to be straight and strong so that your twist is the left hand walking out. And bow the weight of your head. Breathe into the lower belly. Keep the right arm strong. The hips are actually reaching back away from the left hand. Walk the left hand out and rotate your spine to the right. Turn your lower belly and your inner belly to the right. And now inhale. We've been in this inward place, so we're going to inhale, raise the left arm up and look forward. And then inhale, raise the left arm in a big circle, come over and look to your left. Now, keeping both shins strong, you're going to press down and inhale, raise up. Press the left hip forward. You've got to use the strength of the back of the left thigh to reach up. And then exhale, big circle, reach again past your left ear and come back to this twist. So inhale, raise your left arm, look on the horizon. And inhale up and over. And then inhale, raise up, lift your hips. Little back bend, keep the right arm strong. A little bit of a side bend in the left side waist. And exhale. And rise up to center. Okay, let's switch the legs. So pull the right foot around behind. So you're sitting as well as you can on both sitting bones. When you put this foot behind and then this leg is out in Siddhasana. And for some of you, it might feel comfortable to sit up on a blanket. It's not required. You may not want to do it because of where we're going, but it could be helpful to you. Okay. Let's take the right hand across, a little bit of a twist here to the left. Yeah. And then keeping that twist in the lower belly, with the left arm straight and strong, walk the right fingertips forward. As you rotate the lower belly to your left, the left arm helps to keep that rotation steady. Walk the right hand out. You can bow the weight of your head. Your inner gaze is more important right now than your outer gaze. Okay, and then inhale, look on the horizon, raise your right arm up. And then inhale, big sweep up over the sky. Roll the left shoulder open if you haven't yet. And then inhale to raise up. Keep the left arm strong, a little bit of a side bend for the right side waist, and you use the strength of the right butt to lift the hips up. And then exhale and reach back into your twist. Inhale, reach towards the horizon. Inhale, reach up overhead. Inhale, raise your hips. And exhale, return to your twist. Once more. So inhale, up over. Oh. I was combining movements. We're not going to combine today. And then inhale to come up. And exhale to come down. Okay, and let's bring the right foot around. Baddha Konasana. Come a little bit forward in your Baddha Konasana. It's a good pose to welcome yourself back into the pelvic basin. It's an inward and downward pose, so a pose of comfort or refuge. And please rise up to your seat, and I'll show you why we got the special yoga props out. Okay, so we're going to take the two blankets now. Take one and lay it down, and then fold it length to length like this. And do the same for the other one. So we open it lengthwise and then fold it length to length. Okay, so you have two stacked blankets, and then take the top blanket and curl it down. So it makes this little on-ramp right here, right? It goes like this. Yeah. And then when you're going to lie backwards, first you sit in front of the two blankets. You don't sit on them, you sit in front of them. Take your two blocks. Put the soles of the feet together. Open the knees out to the side to be supported by the blocks. And then take the top blanket and curl it under your neck like this. So now your head is higher than your heart. This is called Supta Baddha Konasana, and it's a form of Supta Baddha Konasana that we could use when you need to have the head higher than the heart for gazing inward and downward. This is a very nourishing, restorative pose. It's also a time that you might want to cover up. This is my meditation shawl, one of many. So sometimes it's nice to cover just to feel the beauty of your meditation. And I'm going to ask you, when you come into this position, then make sure that your head does feel comfortably supported. And if you're comfortable doing so, the arms go out to the side and you can turn your palms face up. You're welcome to close your eyes. And I'd like you to place your attention into the pelvic basin and pretend that it actually were like a calm ocean, maybe at sunset. And all the turbulence of the day, or all the pursuits of the day, all that sense of fight or flight has abated. And so picture yourself dropping into this quietude as if you were a boat, maybe a kayak on a quiet ocean. The temperature is perfectly suited to you. The sky is clear. The birds are at peace, decorating the sky and the ocean. And there can be an internal sense of harmony and ease. Allow yourself to drop in breath to breath, no particular way to breathe, only allowing your body to breathe you. And picture the gentle currents of the breath like the ocean, a deep and tranquil ocean. And then you can say to yourself, based on the 6 stations of the mind, and say, for all the ways in which your past taught you how to push, you may now relax. For all the ways in which your past taught you how to push, you may now relax. You'll be guided by a much larger current. You may now relax. Related to the future, for that elusive and uncertain future to which you are grasping, You may now relax. To the future with its uncertainties, that elusive future for which we are grasping. You may now relax. Now for the station of likes or clinging, you may say to yourself, for all that you have grasped for the urgency and the haste, for all of the clinging, you may now let go. Welcome yourself to deeply relax. For the station of aversion or dislikes, for all that we hope to avoid, for that which we resist, may we now relax and feel our resilience, our strength to bear the uncomfortable should it arise. All that we resist, for all that we hope to avoid, may we release that resistance and discover our resilience and our capacity to bear what is to come, should it arise. Now, for the inner self that too often might feel alone or competitive or disconnected, allow yourself to feel the indwelling connection you now have to yourself, to your breath and your body, and to life, life itself. And to the station of other, rather than an adversary or a competitor, rather than someone to compare to. And we welcome into our hearts all others, those who are seeking and even those who are not. And to sense others as our very self, and to sense ourselves in them as well. Allow the relaxation to go very deeply, so it's nourishing and beyond this present moment. It's a nourishment that will be sustained. You can offer yourself these prayers one more time through. All the ways in which your past taught you how to push, you may now relax. For all the ways you were taught to grasp for an elusive future with its uncertainties, you may now relax. For all that you have clung to or grasped for, that which you thought might complete you, craving, clinging, you may now relax. For all that you have avoided or resisted, see yourself having the resilience, the strength to greet it if it should come. And welcome the inner self that is deeply connected to all that is. And imagine the countless community members, the family of humanity, not as adversaries, but as companions, navigating the human condition on a path of healing. And you can lightly wiggle your fingers, your toes. Please bring your knees up to center. You can roll down to one side, or you can press yourself up to sitting if that's a comfortable transition for you to do. Bring just what you need to sit on for meditation. Find your place. And see if you can sense the balance now that you're neither in sympathetic nor dorsal vagal, but rather that ventral vagal or sattvic state. We're not pushing, we're not hiding, we're not doggedly pursuing, we're not backing away from, we're not in fight or flight, freeze or collapse. So resting in the center. You may feel the back hemisphere of your body where the blankets were. It's going to get some circulation and some warmth. Notice your access to your wise and compassionate mind. To all the ways in which your past taught you to push, you can relax. To all the ways in which you were taught to pursue an elusive and uncertain future, you can relax. Towards all that you may have clung to or grasped for to complete you, to satiate that which is not satiable, we can surrender. Our inner wholeness cannot be completed by something we add to it. It's already whole. And to all the ways in which we learn to avoid or to resist. And we see now our resilience for greeting what is to come. And we sense the self that is interconnected with everything and held by a larger love. And to include all others as our companions, living this human condition with the opportunity for it to be a healing journey. Please raise your hands to your heart. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. I mentioned a few of the ways in which the sympathetic nervous system drives those 6 stations of the mind, or is driven by those 6 stations of the mind. It's like an unhelpful feedback loop, an inauspicious feedback loop. There are different ways that that happens for dorsal vagal, but we'll save that for a different discussion. So I hope you feel relaxed and centered in yourself, your capital S self, a sense of wholeness and capacity, resilience, connection. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us for this practice. I hope it has been helpful to you. I've been illustrating some principles throughout a yoga psychology training weekend in these classes. If that interests you, how we're sequencing, how we're pulling on different pieces of yoga philosophy, the understanding of the overarching healing practice of yoga, please check out the URL that's on the bottom of the screen right here for the Yoga Teacher Training School. If this practice was helpful to you, please do click the like button. If you have questions or comments for me, I love to hear from you in the comments down below the video. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you next time.